Let's talk about conscious leadership. Like a lot of terms that carry real meaning, it can start to feel vague through overuse. So, today I want to be specific about what it actually means, why it matters right now, and why, if you're building the kind of business that I think you're building, it makes the internal work of building yourself as a business owner more important than it's ever been. If you're here, you're probably already aware of attention. You're building something that you care about, something rooted in your values, and yet you're operating in a space that still largely runs on an old model. High pressure launches, manufactured scarcity, positioning that feels like it exaggerates and doesn't deliver, the hustle that never quite stops. And you look at it and you think, that's not what I'm here for. That's not what I'm here to do. But then you wonder if holding that line is costing you, whether the more grounded approach is commercially naive. This is something that I've struggled with a lot, but the tension isn't confusion, it's discernment, and it's pointing to something real, not just about how you run your business, but about the moment that we're actually in. Hi there, I'm Lyndon. This channel is about entrepreneurial leadership, what it actually takes to build a business that's yours, that lasts and that reflects who you are. If you're new here, welcome. If you've been watching a while, this one brings together the bigger picture behind everything that we have been building. I want to start with something that I think is worth talking about plainly because it's the context for everything else in this video. The dominant leadership model, the one that's shaped how business, institutions, and power structures have operated for centuries, is extractive. We know that. It concentrates resources upwards. It runs on hierarchy. It treats people, and some more than others, the planet, and time as things to be used rather than treasured and sustained. And it produces burnout, inequality, and a world that, if we're honest, most of us look at and think it wasn't supposed to be this way. It's developed structurally over a very long time, and we've inherited it as though it's simply how things are. But it isn't how things have to be. And we're in a moment of genuine shift, a collective awakening, if you're comfortable with that language, a collective awakening to the reality that that model isn't working and that something different is not only possible, it's necessary. So what's incoming if we shift things that way? It's what I think many of us can feel, even if we don't have the language for it, and it operates on completely different principles. Fundamentally, human equity over repression, but also connection over separation, care as a genuine force rather than some sort of soft add-on, collaboration over competition, intuition valued alongside analysis, interdependence recognized and valued rather than denied. These are the qualities that have historically been described as feminine. And I want to be clear that I'm using that word in an energetic sense, not a human gendered one. These are not qualities owned by women. They're qualities that the old paradigm suppressed because they were threatening to it. The revaluing of the feminine is revaluing of these ways of being and leading, and it's what conscious leadership is about. Here's where your business comes in. Women in online business, heart-led, building outside the traditional structures, motivated by impact as much as income, are genuinely and practically placed to be part of this shift, not symbolically, but actually. Because when money and influence and visibility move into the hands of people who hold different values, different things happen in the world. The decisions that are made from that place are different. The models that are built from that place are different. The leadership modeled from that place reaches further than the business itself. It moves through how you use what you build, what you invest in, who you bring with you, what you make possible for the people who come after you. We talked about this in the context of the witch wound earlier in this series, the historical suppression of exactly this kind of power from the perspective of my lineage. In some ways, this video is a completion of that thread because what we're talking about now isn't just stepping out from the shadow of what was suppressed. It's understanding what it was suppressed in service of and choosing to build differently for all of us. And this is precisely why building the business owner matters as much as it does, not just for your results, although it absolutely serves your results, but because the quality of your leadership is the mechanism through which the shift happens or doesn't happen. A business owner who is reactive, who outsources their authority, who makes decisions from anxiety rather than discernment, who burns out trying to keep up with a model that was never built for her, she can't be a carrier of a different way, not because she's not capable, but because she hasn't yet built the internal capacity that believes that capability and that conscious leadership requires. Decisive decision-making, self-trust, the ability to hold uncertainty without seeking external reassurance, the regulation that keeps your discernment available to you under pressure, the courage to build differently, even when the louder model seems to be working for everyone around you. These are not nice to haves. They are the requirements of leading consciously, and they are exactly what building the business owner develops. The paradigm shift doesn't happen through intention alone. It happens through the daily practice of leading from a different place in how you make decisions, how your clients feel about how you operate, how you use your money, how you show up in your industry. That is the work, and it starts with building yourself as the person who embodies what she wants to embody naturally. Here's what this looks like. You build something that you can stand behind completely, not because it's perfect, but because every significant decision has come from your own authority and your own values. When the old model pulls at you, the urgency, the pressure, the comparison, you notice it, but you don't follow. Not from rigidity, but from clarity about what you're actually building and why. Instead of the old way being in your ear saying, well, what if you're wrong? You understand that your business is a vehicle, not just for your own income and freedom, but for something that moves through you into the wider world. It makes the internal work feel worth doing, even on the days when results are slower than you'd like. And you carry the qualities of conscious leadership, the care, the collaboration, the intuition brought to bear on real decisions, not as a values statement on your website, but as a way of operating. And your clients feel it, your industry feels it. The people who come after you feel it in ways that you won't necessarily see. That's what it means to be part of a change rather than just a business. The shift that I would offer from this, conscious leadership isn't an addition to the work of building your business. It is the work, and building yourself as the owner is how it can become real rather than remaining an aspiration. So a question worth sitting with: where in your business are the qualities of the new paradigm of leadership? Care, connection, inclusivity, intuition, collaboration, where are they already showing up? And where is the old model still running? Not because you chose it, but because you haven't honoured your full capability yet to replace it. Next week is the final video in this first arc of this channel. It's the most practical one, where everything that we've covered lands in a clear starting point. So if you have been watching and something has been unlocking for you, come back for that one. And if you're not wanting to wait, then recalibrate your 30-day practice for confident decision making is the starting point for this work. And I created it for women who know business and know that more strategy isn't what they need right now. And the link to that is in the description. Subscribe if you want to be here for next week's video. And if this conversation has landed for you, if it named something that you felt already but hadn't quite articulated, share it with someone you think would benefit from hearing it. And that would genuinely be so helpful for this channel too right now. So thank you. I'll speak with you next week. Bye for now.